Alrighty. Jim Knapsack, Director of Information for the Midwest Collegiate Volleyball League, here with head coach L.J. Marx of the Carthage College Redmen, who advanced to the NCAA tournament, defeating Loris in 3 sets. Coach, start with an opening statement on what you saw from your team in your championship match today.
First, Loris gave us everything we could handle. I mean, they kind of were indicative of what they did last night. They were really being aggressive from the end line and putting pressure on us, and I think that I think it showed in the first 5 points between both teams. I don't know if a ball got really across the net. Both teams were swinging hard and blocking, so we knew right then that we were in for a little bit of a fight. And the statistics showed that. I think the nerves of the day got the best of both teams. Numerically, talking to Jeremy at the end here, it was we both kind of looked at the numbers and we're like, ooh, that was bad. But from both of our standpoints, if there's a bad day, hopefully the other team's having a bad day as well, and I think that's what made it a little bit more of a competitive match, even though it wasn't the cleanest volleyball played on the court.
Kelvin's performance this week, he came out and put together 2 really good matches, just his MVP performance.
Yeah, he's been through a lot in the last year or 2, or maybe 3 of his life, just with the hurricane on the island and trying to figure out what to do. And obviously, we're very happy that he chose Carthage for his education and career. And part of that process was just getting used to being away from home and some of those things. So it was really nice in the last, especially kind of month, to see him really get comfortable and start playing like we knew he could. And I think it showed this weekend that he's finally kind of hit that comfort level, and we're seeing what he's capable of doing on the court, which is a pretty high level of play.
Coach, last night you won in 3 against Mount St. Joseph. You stayed and you watched Loris go, toe to toe and needing 5. Did it factor into your game plan in any way to try and exploit the fact that Loris might have some tired legs after going 5 sets last night?
We chatted about it. That probably at 11, 12 o'clock at night, midnight is probably when they were finally shutting it down, and that's a tough environment to be in. However, the emotional high of that win is something you're definitely going to carry into day 2. So we knew they were going to come out fast and with lots of energy. So it was kind of a don't lose your composure and weather the storm, hoping at some point it caught up to them. And I don't think it did. I mean, they made a few unforced, kind of uncharacteristic errors in the second set that ultimately allowed us to take that one. But they came back and played really well in the third. So I don't think it really affected their play, at least from my standpoint in viewing it. But it does play a toll.
Having 2 guys like Braden and Evans sitting on the bench, you could argue both of them are top. They start in any lineup in the MCVL. What's it like having those guys and the leadership that they're showing from the bench?
It's been one of those years, losing guys to injury, and it seems like it's been the same positions all season long, and I think it's just it just speaks to kind of the depth and quality of the guys we have, and how they all understand that it might not be your turn today, it might not be your turn tomorrow, but at some point in time we're gonna need you, and that's why it's so competitive in the gym, and it shows. Mason's been on the outside, kind of splitting time all season. We called his name on the right side, and and to be thrust in that environment on 2 days of practice, again, it just speaks volume to the level that the guys bring every day at practice.
Coach, what are you expecting? Or where in the bracket do you expect to maybe see your team's name called on Monday? Any indication on where you might be heading, or do you expect to host?
I have no idea where we're going to fall from a seed standpoint. I would think, based on the regional rankings from the last couple of weeks, that we should be in line to host a regional, being the number one team in the West region the last couple of weeks. That would lead me to believe we're hosting a regional. I'm assuming we'll see the winner of the NAC in that same region, since they're close. The third team, it's a guess. I couldn't even give you an idea of who's going to be there, and ultimately, it doesn't matter. You're going to have to beat really good teams from here on out, and you're going to have your best day. So we'll take the hopeful advantage of being at home and not having to travel. But even if we have to go on the road, there's benefits to being on the road and having some of that home pressure off your shoulders as well. So we'll step foot on the court and get after it, whoever's on the other side. Hopefully we can come out with a W.
You know, your team has played 25 matches this season. If you had to pick out one of those 25 that you think is going to benefit your team next week in the NCAA tournament, which match is that, and what was it about that match that gave you such an advantage going forward?
Honestly, I think the loss to North Central. I think it was a good, I don't want to say wake-up call, but a good kind of market correction. You know, you don't ever want to take a loss, but if you're going to take one, there's definitely better times of the year to have it. And having it in the middle of the season just to kind of open our eyes a little bit. And, you know, we had a stretch of, I don't want to say poor matches, but we weren't executing very well, but we were still winning those matches. So it was becoming a little bit of a, hey, we're not playing well, but we're still winning, so we're okay. And I think taking that loss really kind of got us to understand that there needed to be a higher level, and it definitely started showing up in the practice environment since then, and definitely has helped us get to this point. So hopefully we can continue to build off that. You know, we'll take the wins this weekend as a good building block as well, and see what next week holds for us.
Loris, you commented, just where do you see that program right now compared to maybe when they started the MCVL season and the growth of it?
If you would have asked me if they would have been playing in the conference tournament final in the preseason polls, I wouldn't have bet on it. And I think that just speaks volumes to, you know, what Jeremy's been able to do with those guys. You know, a very calm demeanor with a very caring environment. And I think Jeremy understands that at times it's more about volleyball. And I think the boys bought into it. And you could see the way they played last night. And the way they rallied and the way their fans traveled. It's definitely a family environment, and that's something that he should be very proud of. That team is going to be very good in the very, very, very near future.
Alrighty, congratulations, LJ Marks. You and your Red Men are heading to the NCAA tournament. Congratulations on behalf of MCVL Commissioner Chuck Yergin and the entire MCVL. Represent us well, and we'll see where you head on Monday.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.